Aleksichuk. Love to take any questions from the crowd if you've got them.
Hi, Dave.
How you doing?
It's
Simon.
debut event. It's always interesting when the UFC breaks new ground, how the market reacts and how the fans react in the arena. Yep. Based on your past experience of breaking new ground with the UFC, where does this one rank?
Pretty high. I think we hit max decibel level with Lucy's fight. It was a great week all around. I mean, we had very strong attendance at all the different fan events. I mean, the open workouts, as we discussed before, were unbelievable. The crowd was in early. I think we were over 50% for the first fight. By the third fight, it was virtually full. So for debut markets, we're very pleased. Huge support from Nova Sport, our broadcast partner here, did a great job. Not only profiling and really showing and creating some meaningful content around our athletes, but promoting the fight really well, which was great for the UFC brand. So very, very high on the list of debuts.
And the question that always comes from the local media is, when will you be coming back? And this is a little bit of a different situation insofar as a lot of the markets that you serve, especially the new ones that you go into, you've got the talent pool ready to just plug straight into a UFC card. We have one Czech fighter on the card this weekend.
Yep.
Does that have any impact on your planning, whether you consider coming back to the Czech Republic within the next 12 to 18 months?
No, I mean, we look at it as an opportunity. The results, the financial and the attendance results were fantastic tonight. And so for us, it's a good barometer of the opportunity here. I think as we've talked about before, we look at coming to a new market as a long-term play. And this isn't about coming here for 1 week in 2019 and assessing our success metrics based on that. Our commitment to the market is going to be consistent, and it's going to be over the long term. And so, irrespective of the number of local fighters we had on the card, we look at this event as very, very successful, and I think a precursor of what's to come. I mean, as you know, we'll probably have 6 or 7 events in the EMEA region this year. So it certainly won't be this year, likely won't be next year, but I think as we look to 2021 and beyond, there's a very good chance we'll be back.
Hello, Martina
Hello.
from In the Cage from Poland. Nice to see you here so near to Poland. So my first question is, when are you coming back to my country, to Poland?
Well, it was a little more than 14, 15 months ago that we were in Gdansk. Yeah. And that was a great event as well. Huge crowd, great results from the Polish fighters. Tough loss for Yen tonight, but certainly Mikhail looked amazing, got a bonus. It won't be too long. I think we've got, as we do in Czech Republic, we've got a strong broadcast relationship, huge foundation of an MMA community in Poland. And so we don't have a 2020 plan figured out yet, but it'll be on the short list for sure.
Great. And about Czech Republic, as we can see, MMA is increasing here. There is a much more bigger public than it was 2 or 3 years ago. And so would you be interested in signing some new Czech Republic fighters like Vemola or Jiří Procházka?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you noticed, but Sean Shelby was here and spent a lot of time, I think, speaking to a number of people in the local MMA community. I'm sure he's got a target list of people to continue to look at. Those decisions, come down to those guys. So I'm sure there are a number of people on his list having been here this week and seeing, how fervent the MMA community is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Good. Thanks.
There's rumors about UFC returning to Stockholm, Sweden.
Sorry? There are rumors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that correct, or are there rumors?
They're definitely rumors. I saw some rumors, heard a lot about them today. Quite honestly, we're always looking at Sweden. It's a pretty important market for us. We want to get back to Scandinavia generally, at least once this year. Nice to have Gus back. Stockholm's got a great arena. Viasat, Viaplay is an important partner for us as well. So, we're definitely looking at coming back to Scandinavia. Sweden's always on the short list. Nothing to report concretely right now.
Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem. Anything else? Okay. Thank you for having us. Prague's a wonderful city. We're very honored to be here. Thank you.
Stefan, 10 years and 2 days since you first set foot in the UFC octagon, 40 career fights under your belt. You've chosen now as the time to put your gloves down in the octagon and retire from the sport. What are the overriding emotions now you've made that big decision?
I'm happy I never have to feel that tension again before the fight. And that only got worse after knowing about my heart. You know, it was very hard to come back. But I'm not someone who shies away from a challenge. Yeah, I thought about it a lot. Of course, you know, I first started thinking about retiring when the situation with the heart came up, and but I didn't want to at that point. I really didn't want to, although of course it was an option, especially in the very beginning when we didn't know exactly what was going on. Then I made my comeback and got on a streak again. Fought Alexander Volkov in Rotterdam, and Stipe was the champ at that point, you know. So, and I'm one of the few guys who's got a great win over him. And my thoughts were, if I knock him out too in Rotterdam, then maybe the shot comes. You know, I always wanted to fight for the UFC title, and before I signed with the UFC, I believed I was going to be a champion. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do that, but I had a great career anyway. So only happiness. So. Was
this a decision that you kept just to yourself, or was it something you discussed with friends and family beforehand?
I discussed it the last couple of years a couple of times with my coaches and friends, and talked about it. But like everybody, I want to end it on a good note, end it with a win. And unfortunately, after getting on a streak, I ended on a losing streak, and it just didn't feel right. And now it does. So.
Onto that victory, and you know, you've picked up a slew of submission wins during your career. You know, you've made that a reputation of yours. You know, you finish people by submission, which is kind of rare in the UFC heavyweight division. How fitting is it that you go out not just on a win, but on a sub as well?
Well, not only a sub, but, you know, facing adversity in the first round. I didn't know what hit me. I hit the ground, and I had a big Brazilian on me trying to knock me out. I didn't know what happened. Just stayed calm. I felt him getting tired, and I knew the second round was going to be mine. So I knew that the opportunity for the submission would come, and it did. So.
And what's next for Stefan Struve?
A whole life with lots of opportunity outside of fighting, which I can fully focus on right now. And yeah, just going to be successful with something else, successful and happy. So,
all the best to you.
Thank you.
Stefan, obviously you've mentioned about about your health issues and about your heart. Has that condition changed in any way? What is the update with your health at the moment?
I'm great. It's doing great. But you know, if you look at it, I shouldn't be fighting the best athletes in the world. When this is found, normally it's found when people are very young. You know, you go to a doctor and they hear a murmur, and then you have it checked out, and then you're on medication for your whole life, and you're told you shouldn't do anything dangerous or whatever because, you know, you got a heart disease. So they didn't find it in me until I was 24, 25. I can't remember the exact age, but you know, at that point I didn't want to retire. It wasn't ready. Everything is great. I get checked up every 6 months, and that's enough to see how it's progressing. And now that I don't have to train as a professional athlete anymore, I'm always going to be training, but now I'm going to be able to focus even more on keeping that heart healthy, and I think it's only going to be good for it. So.
And what will you do as a retired MMA fighter? Do you still want to stay working somehow within the sport?
Yeah, I would love to stay attached to the UFC in some way. I've been with them for 10 years. I had a great career with them, but we'll see. You know, I'm gonna teach for sure. I got so much knowledge to share. MMA is still very fresh in Holland. I think there's a lot of growth to be done, and it'd be awesome if I can have a part of that.
And just last one from me. Any special moments that kind of stick out to you, you know, throughout your MMA career?
Well, tonight, my whole career, I've had great fights, in my opinion. You know, I don't want to talk about my career like that, but like, I made my debut against Junior Dos Santos. Then my second fight, I had an absolute war with the whole cage being red with my blood. You know, I fought one of the best heavyweights of all time, Stipe Miocic, of course. I got to fight 2 times in Rotterdam at the first defense the UFC ever had in Holland. Even after coming back, I fought my way back to main eventing the UFC. You know, I fought 2 main events for the UFC. I don't know even how many co-main events. Fought all over the world. Yeah, I'm proud of it.
So let's have a look, quick look through your last 4 fights. You had 3 losses, and now the win for the finish of your career. Do you treat it as an icing on the cake, or it would be no change to the decision if you lose this fight?
Well, I wanted to end it on a good note. You know, you never really want to go out on a loss because it's going to stick with you, that feeling of losing. I hate losing. I love winning. I'm going to miss winning. But for the rest, you know, going very deep in training camps, and then the week of the fight, mentally it's been tougher than before. I knew about the heart and all that. During training, I can easily shrug it off. But during fight week, the question a lot of times comes up in my head, man, what am I doing? But I think a lot of people have that. I think it's just a good time to call it. So.
And let's focus on the fashion that you've won today. If you could pick the fashion you could win, would it be a submission, or would you like to win in another fashion?
If I could change anything today, it would be like the first 5 seconds where I almost got knocked out. But for the rest, you know, it's also fitting for my career because I faced adversity a lot of times. But yeah, no, I'm very happy with the win. I hadn't won by arm triangle yet, and it's another submission to add to my resume. So.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, that's quick. Good? Yep.
acho que não, a gente pediu para sentar aqui. É, tá bom. Quer? Yeah, I mean...
Tiago, congratulations. That was a pretty spectacular victory. You're right up there now in that 205-pound division. How do you assess that performance, and what's your emotions after such a spectacular display?
Thiago, parabéns. Foi uma performance espetacular. Quais são os seus pensamentos depois de uma performance tão boa?
Bom, estou muito feliz. E agora eu olho para frente. Na minha frente eu só vejo uma disputa de cinturão.
I'm really happy. I only know how to look forward, and in front of me I see a title shot.
I understand leading into that fight, you had a bit of an injury you were taking into that fight. I understand you had a problem with your knee leading in. I wondered if you could shed any light on that and let us know just how bad that was heading into the contest.
Ele soube que você teve um probleminha com o joelho, queria saber qual a gravidade dessa sua lesão entrando na luta.
É difícil, né? Tive uma lesão semana passada, eu não estava conseguindo andar direito. Fiquei a semana tratando do meu joelho, indo ao médico, fazendo fisioterapia. E, bom, eu decidi lutar, cara, entendeu? Eu consegui recuperar bem. Ainda me incomodou, ainda está me incomodando. Agora depois eu vou fazer uns exames, mas creio que não é nada grave.
Yeah, I had an injury at the beginning of last week. It was really bothering me. I had to stop and do physical therapy on it. But I decided to fight. It's still bothering me, but I decided to fight and surpass it. And now I'll do the exams, and hopefully it's nothing serious.
Taking on someone like Jan Blachowicz, he's renowned for his durability, and in some of your previous fights, you've got them out of there very, very quickly. The fact that you're up against such a durable guy, you seemed a little bit more controlled, a little bit more patient in your approach. Was that something that was because of the injury, or was it because more to do with the opponent and the fact that he'd gone the distance so many times in his career?
O Jan é um cara difícil de ser tirado, e você foi bem paciente, diferente das suas outras lutas, onde você geralmente explode. Isso foi por causa do machucado, da lesão, ou foi porque você realmente tentou passar seu ritmo?
Cada luta é uma luta, né? E junto com meus treinadores, a gente achou melhor, a gente tinha uma estratégia. O Blachowicz é um cara bem técnico, bem estrategista. E cada luta é uma luta. Essa não era a luta de eu fazer o que eu fiz na luta passada. E a gente ganha experiência e eu agi como graças a Deus deu certo.
Each fight's a different fight. Me and my training partners, we created a strategy. This wasn't a fight to go do what I did in the last fights. You know, as I get more experience, I get better at this, and I wanted to play a smart fight. Jan's a very tough guy, and I knew that it wasn't going to be that simple.
And last one from me. You said you want a title shot. I think you're tied for second most finishes now in the light heavyweight division. Are we going to see another one if you get in there with John Jones?
Bom, você quer a luta do título, você está empatado pelo maior número de finalizações no meio pesado. Nós vamos ver uma finalização dessa se você entrar lá com John Jones?
Como eu falei, cada luta é uma luta, mas com certeza eu vou buscar terminar a luta antes do tempo normal, entendeu? Eu sempre busco acabar minhas lutas antes do tempo, mas cada luta é uma luta. Mas com certeza essa luta vai acontecer e eu vou chocar o mundo.
Each fight's a fight. We'll see when that happens. But I tell you, this fight's going to happen, and I will shock the world.
Do you feel like you have done enough to secure the next shot?
Você acha que você fez bastante para assegurar a próxima disputa de título?
Com certeza, com certeza. Não tem mais ninguém na minha frente. Eu venci o quarto do ranking, o terceiro está disputando o cinturão agora. O próximo sou eu.
Of course. I beat the number 4. Number 3 is fighting for the title. I get the next title shot.
And you said you will be going to Vegas to watch the Jones and Smith fight. How do you think that plays out?
E você vai para Las Vegas ver o John Jones contra o Smith. Como que você acha que vai acontecer essa luta?
Bom, para mim o John Jones é o favorito, mas eu não me surpreenderia se o Smith vencesse a luta também. O Smith tem armas para vencer, e se o John Jones subestimar o Smith, ele vai acabar se surpreendendo e perdendo a luta.
I think John Jones is the favorite, but Anthony Smith could win also, and especially if John Jones subestimates him, he could end up paying for it.
If Jones was to hold on to the title, obviously that's a fresh matchup for you. How do you think he would fare against him?
Se realmente o John Jones for ficar com o título, como você acha que você vai se sair contra ele?
Como eu falei, eu vou chocar o mundo, de alguma forma. Com certeza eu não vou ser o favorito, com certeza vão achar que o John Jones vai me vencer, e eu vou chocar o mundo como eu venho chocando, né? Eu estou aqui, eu estou nessa posição que eu estou não é à toa, entendeu? Então, eu quero a minha chance, eu quero a minha oportunidade, eu fiz por merecer, eu conquistei isso, eu quero a minha oportunidade, só me dê minha oportunidade, eu vou chocar o mundo.
It's like I said, I know that if I fight John Jones, he's going to be the favorite, but I've been shocking the world, and I'll shock it again. All I want is my opportunity.
And last one from me, you mentioned obviously about an injury there. You have an ice pack. Is there, I mean, you know, what kind of time frame are you looking at getting back in there? Is there any injury that you're going to have to take some time off for?
Tá vendo que seu pé está machucado, você falou de uma lesão. Tem algum machucado aí que vai levar muito tempo para você sarar?
Não, isso aqui é coisa da luta. O meu joelho também já não está mais incomodando tanto. E isso aqui no pé é coisa da luta, normal. Quando eu estou ali em cima, eu chuto tudo. O Blachowicz bloqueou alguns chutes meus e eu chuto o que ele botar na frente, canela, joelho. Então é normal. Isso aqui, daqui 2 dias eu já estou bem.
No, the ice on the foot is part of the fight. When I kick anything that's in front. If it hits a knee, a head, or an elbow, it sometimes gets a little bit hurting. My knees, hopefully, is nothing anything serious either. So I'll be good pretty soon.
Hello, Thiago. Congratulations for the win. And a question from me about the fight. Was this kicking for the leg, for the front leg of Jan Blachowicz, was the strategy from the beginning, or maybe it just came up during the fight?
O fato de você estar chutando a perna da frente do Jan era estratégia da luta ou aconteceu simplesmente que a luta transcorreu desse jeito?
A gente tem várias estratégias, né? Essa era uma delas também, chutar a perna dele da frente. Mas a gente tinha várias estratégias.
We had many strategies. That was just one of them, kick the front leg. But we always have more than one way to do things.
Okay. And the second one from me. Janek Blachowicz was much more active during his fights with Krylov and with Jimmy Manuwa and so on. Was you surprised with his not active, with his being not so active during the first and the second round? Was it a surprise for you?
O Blachowicz foi muito mais ativo nas últimas 2 lutas dele. Na sua luta ele não foi tanto. Isso te surpreendeu?
Não, como eu falei, a gente está nesse nível, é uma luta que você também tem que ser inteligente, não é? Ele sabia dos riscos de lutar comigo, eu sabia dos riscos de lutar com ele, eram 5 rounds, uma luta importante para nós dois, então não é só uma briga, é um jogo de xadrez, é um tentando achar o melhor momento para atacar, então é normal que a luta se transcorresse dessa forma.
No, at this level, that's the way it is. Both of us knew how important the risks of fighting each other. Both of us knew how important the fight was. And it's not a brawl, it's like a chess game. So, you know, I didn't expect him to come out and start committing errors.
Okay, and the last one from me. You've won the fight, but you are not smiling. So my question is, does Thiago even smile sometimes?
Bom, você ganhou a luta, mas não está sorrindo. Você não sorri de vez em quando, não?
At last, thank you.
Appreciate.
Thiago, você agora é o segundo maior nocauteador da história do UFC, igualou o Anderson Silva, está 1 atrás do Vitor Belfort. Queria saber o quanto você se importa com esse tipo de estatística e o que isso mostra em relação à tua carreira.
Thiago, you are now ranked up there, tied for the most finishes in this division with Vitor Belfort. Do you really care about those kind of statistics?
Isso é legal. Talvez quando eu parar, ter história para contar, falar que eu fui um dos maiores nocauteadores da história. Mas agora eu não penso muito nisso. Eu tenho muito mais a fazer dentro do UFC. Acho que não para por aqui. Então, lá na frente, quando eu estiver parando já, vai ser legal ter essa história toda para contar, entendeu? Mas agora eu procuro não pensar muito nisso. Nem sabia desses dados aí. Obrigado por ter falado.
You know, maybe later on when I retire, it'll be cool, but right now it's not really what I'm worried about. It's cool to have these statistics, but now I'm really thinking about my career and moving forward with it. So it doesn't really matter to me. I didn't even know about it.
Finish.
Okay. Agradece, não, Bomo.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Eu podia ter falado com ele.